anger, pride, greed, and illusion. The tendency of people in this world, and the tendency is there very much in devotees too, is we want to serve these anarthas. We have to deeply take shelter of Krishna, take shelter of Prabhupada's books, take shelter of the association of devotees, and take shelter of the holy names for Krishna's blessings to give us the strength to overcome these anarthas. And that's why we come to Govardhan Hill. Not to think we're advanced, because if we think we're advanced, then there's nothing to ask for. Raghunath Das Goswami, how did he live at Govardhan? We cannot imitate him, but we must follow in the footsteps of the great souls. He would offer thousands of obeisances to Krishna in the form of Giriraj. Every day, he would offer thousands of obeisances to the Vaishnavas. Now, Radha Kund was a very secluded place. Where are thousands of Vaishnavas? But he would offer thousands of obeisances to the Vaishnavas. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was living at Sri Radha Kund at Giriraj Govardhan. And he would listen to the talks of Raghunath Das Goswami every day. And with the order of the great Vaishnavas and the blessings of Madan Mohanji and Govindaji, he wrote what he heard in the form of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Kaviraj Goswami is writing that I take the dust of the feet and worship every single devotee. The neophytes who are just coming to the path, and the great Paramahamsa Acharyas. That was his appreciation. How much do we really appreciate Krishna? Kali Yuga, our tendency is to take things very cheaply. We take Krishna cheaply. We take Vaishnavas cheaply. We take the holy name cheaply. We take devotional service cheaply. But if we understand Krishna, if we actually have some real appreciation and love for Krishna, then like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami or Raghunath Das Goswami, we'll see anybody who's approaching Krishna with some sincerity is worshipable to me. How we humble ourselves to the Vaishnavas is actually a sign of how much we're actually appreciating Krishna. This person has a little spark of love for Krishna. If I really love Krishna, oh, how wonderful that spark is. This was Kaviraj Goswami's mood. So when we come here, this is what we pray for. This is what we long for. This is what we try to install on the altar of our heart's deepest aspirations. Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam vajagadisha kami. Mama janmani janmanishwari bhavatad bhakti rahoite kitu. For unconditional loving service, for the pleasure of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Raghava Pandit was living in a little cave near Surabhi Kund. He was Champak Lata, one of the Sakis of Sri Radha in Krishna's Leela. He was constantly immersed in the loving service of the Lord. And the greatest acharyas, when they would come to Vrindavan, Raghava Pandit would take them on parikrama. And in the Bhakti Ratnakar, there's a beautiful chapter where Jiva Goswami is instructing Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivasacharya to go on the parikrama under the guidance with the blessings of Raghava Pandit. And Narottam Das Thakur, in his one beautiful song, he is worshipping Sri Guru, worshipping the Vaishnavas, worshipping the holy name, Ananda Vrindavan, Ananda Bola Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Chant the holy names of Hari and worship Vrindavan. And how to do so? Through worshipping the Guru and the Vaishnavas. Vishaya Chatiya Kabe Sudaha Bimana Kabe Hamahedibo Sri Vrindavan. When will I be free of these material desires? Then I will see Vrindavan. So we come here not to be great. We come here praying to be humble, so that we can actually serve the great and please the great. And Giriraj will fulfill our desires. The Garga Samhita tells the story of how Giriraj manifested in Goloka Vrindavan, in this spiritual world. It's a discussion between Narada Muni and Bahulasva, a great king. Now, Nitya Lila is inconceivable to the human intelligence, because our human intelligence, especially Western education, it tries to categorize things and put things in boxes that are logical and make sense and that are consistent with other truths that make sense and all of that. And it's based on our sensual experiences. But Srila Prabhupada taught us that to understand Krishna, to understand bhakti, first principle, he quotes Jiva Goswami too, is Krishna has achintya shakti. He has inconceivable potencies. And this is why when we speak here in Vrindavan about Krishna's incredible pastimes, what is this Agasura? And what is this Putana? And how Krishna's, sucking life out of this giant witch, and how he's expanding himself in the snake, and how he's showing the universe in his little mouth to his mother, and how he's lifting Giriraj Govardhan. It's not that he had one of those devices with the bubbles and everything to try to balance it. He just lifted like a child lifts a mushroom. Today, Govardhan Hill to do parikrama is 23 kilometers. He just lifted and held. Is this, Srila Prabhupada said, this is not mythology. This is history. Materially, yes, it is impossible. But for Krishna, nothing is impossible. He's performing miracles at every moment through material nature. It's just we're so accustomed to see it, we don't even appreciate it. Krishna's inconceivable. So to try to understand Nitya Lila, and at the same time, it's describing how something begins, How does something begin that has no beginning? Hare Krishna. Well, we will tell the story of how the beginningless Govardhan began in the spiritual world. Because inconceivable eternal nature, Krishna's eternally Giriraj in Goloka. But still, for the sake of pastimes, he'll give birth to Giriraj. So one day, Srimati Radharani and the gopis were performing the Ras Leela with Krishna and in the forests of Vrindavan. And Sri Radha, sitting alone with Krishna, she said, if you are pleased with me, if you are pleased with my love and the love of the gopis, and if you are pleased with our rasa dance together and with the beautiful loving forests of Vrindavan, please fulfill one desire that I am having. Krishna said, whatever pleases you is my only desire. Sri Radha said, create in this Ras Mandala, this area of the Rasa dance, near the Yamuna River's banks, the supreme, most pleasurable place for us to perform our pastimes together. Krishna said, so be it. He closed his eyes and meditated very deeply on the very essence of his love within his heart. And that love, the essence of the love of his heart, which is the source of all happiness, it manifested from his heart as a spark of fire and water and entered into the sacred dust of Goloka Vrindavan. And immediately, that little seed began to grow, and it grew and grew and grew. And minutes later, it was a magnificent mountain, the most beautiful mountain in all spiritual world. It's Giriraj, the king of mountains. And when Sri Radharani saw that, Krishna took her by the hand and they explored the waterfalls, the trees, the caves. And it became the favorite playground for Krishna and the gopas and the cows and the gopis and Krishna. When Krishna was to descend into this world, once in a day of Brahma, he descends in his original personal form. In every yuga, he comes as a yuga avatar. There are many descriptions of Leela avatars. For the creation of the world, he has his Purusha avatars. For managing the modes of material nature, he has his Guna avatars. For the purpose of management of universal affairs, he has his Manu avatars. But Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna, Govindam Aripurusham Tamaham Bhajami, once in a day of Brahma. That's over 8 billion years. He comes to this world personally. From Goloka, he told Sri Radha, I am descending into the world. Please come. She said, I will go wherever you go. But my greatest happiness will be if with us the holy river Yamuna that is flowing forever in Goloka, Giriraj, Govardhan Hill, and the forests of Vrindavan. Krishna smiled. He said, they have already descended in their expanded forms, original expanded forms. As he was going, not exactly expanded, his original form descended. And similarly, Giriraj, Jamuna, and the forests of Vrindavan are the original Leela stands of Krishna in the spiritual world that are appearing within this world. And the story of how Giriraj long before came down to this world in order to fulfill this purpose, especially of giving all of us mercy. Krishna, in the form of Giriraj, descended in Samalidvip as the son of Dronachala. And all the other mountains in the universe understood that this is the essence of Krishna's love in the form of a mountain. The king of mountains from Goloka Vrindavan, the highest planet in the spiritual world, has descended into this universe. So they all honored and worshipped and showered flowers on Giriraj. Once Pulasya Muni came to that place, and he never saw anything so beautiful as Giriraj. So he asked the father of Giriraj, Dronachala, I would like to take him to my ashram in Kashi. Kashi, the river Ganga is flowing so mercifully, but there's no beautiful mountains. I want to do my bhajan, my sadhana there. Dronachala was very broken-hearted. How could you say no to a great sage? And at the same time, how could I be separated from Giriraj? So Giriraj told him that because Giriraj had a plan. He was coming to be a part of Krishna's Leelas. Not only a part, the heart of Krishna's Leelas. He said, I will go with you, but how are you going to take me? Pulasya Muni said, I will carry you with my right hand. He said, all right, under one condition, that if anywhere you put me down, I will not move from that place. Pulasya Muni was a great mystic yogi. He knew his own powers. He was very confident. He said, yes. And as they were traveling, when they came to Braj Bhumi, Shri Giriraj could see, this is my eternal abode manifested on earth. This is where I will appear. In the mood of a devotee, this is where my beloved Radharani and Krishna will appear to perform their pastimes. So by Giriraj's desire, Pulasya Muni had a very, very intense necessity to respond to the call of nature. So being a great Brahmin, he put Giriraj down, he responded, and when he came to pick him up, Giriraj did not move. He was very angry. Giriraj said, no, this was the arrangement. Now I am here forever. Pulasya Muni, it was actually Krishna in his heart. He said, what is a blessing of a sage what is a curse is a blessing. He said, because you are not cooperating, every day you will shrink in size by the size of a mustard seed. Now this was way back Satya Yuga, long ago. Because Giriraj was so big. So by the time Krishna came, he was just the perfect size for the beautiful pastimes of the Lord. And when the gopis offer this prayer, Haridas Varya, you are, Srila Prabhupada explains it in this way, that you are most dear to Krishna because you are providing all the pleasures and the necessities to the cows and to Krishna's devotees. And they explain how Giriraj, in his ecstasy of love, is doing seva. Krishna's Govinda. It's his leela to give pleasure to cows. He's Gopal. He's the protector of cows. And Giriraj is Govardhan, which means he nourishes cows. And they live forever in Goloka, the planet of cows. And they're living here as Gokula, the home of the cows. Giriraj, like the hair standing on end of his body, he provides unlimited grass for the cows to eat. And every single blade of grass is an offering of ecstatic, infinite love of Giriraj. Every blade of grass is intoxicatingly fragrant, is so sweet and delicious to eat, is very soft, gentle. So that in every season, so when the cows eat it, not only does it smell nice and it tastes ecstatic, but it feels so good in their mouth. And every grade of grass has such nourishment that it makes the cows very healthy and very happy. And each and every single blade of grass creates, when the cows eat it, milk that has the fragrance of lotus flowers and has such taste and nourishment beyond anything that we can even imagine. And Giriraj is providing unlimited grass like this for cows. And the cows reciprocate. With that milk that's produced from that grass, they're in such ecstatic gratitude and love for Giriraj and for Krishna and for Sri Radha that milk is dripping from their udders and they're watering the grass with their udder. This is loving reciprocation. It's kind of like we take water from the Ganga and offer it back to the Ganga with love. The cows are taking the grass, it's making milk, and they're offering the grass back to the grass. That is Giriraj. And unlimited trees at the time of Krishna. And if you have the spiritual vision, you may see today. And all the trees, they're kalpabriksha trees. They have so many flowers and so many fruits. And Srila Prabhupada explains the nature of the trees on Giriraj, the nature of the kalpabriksha trees in Vrindavan. They fulfill whatever desire you have. Any fruit you want from any tree, it will come instantly. Any flower. But most of all, the fruits and flowers of Krishna Prem are fulfilled when we just desire them under one of these trees. When we hear about the 6 Goswamis sleeping under different trees every night, we kind of think that's such a state of renunciation. Yes? They were living, Rupa and Sanatan and Ramkeli, they were living in magnificent palaces. Raghunath Das Goswami, such an estate of wealth. And now they're sleeping under different trees every night. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains when people would come from Vrindavan back to Bengal or Orissa, the first thing the devotees would ask those people coming back from their pilgrimage, have you seen Rupa and Sanatan, Raghunath Das, have you seen them? Everyone loved them so much. And they would say how they're living. They're sleeping under different trees every night. They're only wearing kopan. Kopan is just a loincloth, and it's usually just a cloth that the Brijabasis discard. And they make it into a little, wrap it around their waist, and a little chadar. And they're just begging for some roti, some wheat, or some chickpeas. But they're constantly chanting the holy names. They're constantly talking about Krishna. They're constantly crying in separation from Krishna and Lord Gauranga. And they're writing books in that state. They ask for nothing, but they're giving the world the greatest things. Now for us, sleeping under these trees is an austerity. But for the Goswamis, premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. When we have love in our heart, we don't see just through these little eyes that are made of flesh and water. We see through that love. It's the soul, the Atma Singh. And only Radharani can bless us. Only Krishna can bless us with that vision. Om Gyanti Mirandasya Gyananjana Chalaka. And they are manifesting that vision through the grace of their beloved servant, the spiritual master. We are all here today because Srila Prabhupada is giving us that vision. So, what were we saying? The trees. So the 6 Goswamis, what is their vision? They are seeing each tree as a kalpabriksha, as a manifestation of Krishna's infinite mercy that's descended from the spiritual world, as an eternal associate, and the Shakti of Radharani and Krishna's grace is manifesting through these trees. It was a greater opulence than Indra's palace by millions of times. Because they were saragrahi, they were seeking the essence. Giriraj, unlimited such trees. And caves, beautiful caves. When the cowherd boys, the gopas, the gopis, the cows, the calves, the bulls, when they would come to Sri Giriraj, they would taste the fruits. They would make wonderful garlands and smell the aromas of the flowers. They would go into the caves. The caves were cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Giriraj made those caves in such a way that they had wonderful jewels on the walls and wonderful sitting places and places where the cows could rub themselves and be very happy. private places where Radharani and Krishna or gopis or the gopas when they're playing, where they could rest. Giriraj created waterfalls, lakes, little rivers, ponds and creeks, and the water was pure nectar. A nectar that was sweeter than the amrit in the heavenly planets. After many, many births of great sacrifices and pious activities, one can attain the heavenly planets and drink nectar. But here was a nectar millions and trillions, unlimitedly greater than the nectar in the spiritual world, and it's available every day, all day, for the cows and the calves and the peacocks and the deers and the buffaloes and the gopas and the gopis and everyone, because this nectar is premamrita. It doesn't just quench your thirst. It awakens the ecstasy of love. By giving all these beautiful facilities for the happiness of Krishna's devotees, Giriraj is expert at pleasing Krishna. This was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's principle. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayora Dasa Dasa Das Anudas. To be the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Should I continue? Should we take a little parikrama around Govardhan Hill? Tomorrow is Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. I don't know what the schedule is, but I hope they will announce it. There will be a program in the morning, and there will also be a program in the evening. And especially the program in the evening, please, everyone be here by 5 o'clock. Because as far as I know, His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, and possibly other great saints will be here to discuss Srila Prabhupada's pastimes and his teachings tomorrow evening. And in the afternoon also we will have it is his disappearance day. So tomorrow we will have the ceremonies for Srila Prabhupada's disappearance. We'll begin we'll bathe at Manasi Ganga. It's recommended, you could begin the parikrama anywhere. Or let us begin at Kusum Sarovar. Kusum Sarovar is a beautiful temple. That temple is a symbol of Braj Bhumi. And it is there that there's a forest, Pushpavan, where Sri Radha and gopis would collect flowers to make garlands and wonderful artistic flower arrangements to offer Krishna at Radha Kund when they would perform their pastimes there. The lake of Kusum Sarovar is filled with the bhav of Sri Radha and Krishna. It is described that Astavakra Muni, he was one of the great sages of the Puranas and Vedas. He was living on the banks of Kusum Sarovar. waiting for Radharani and Krishna to appear within this world. And when he had the darshan of Radha Krishna on the banks of Kusum Sarovar at this Pushpavan, he gave up his life. Narada Muni, he approached Lord Shiva and expressed to Lord Shiva that even though Narada Muni is the guru of Dhruva, the guru of Prahlad, the guru of King Prachini Barhishat, the guru of Valmiki Muni, the guru of Mugrari, he's the guru of almost everybody. When we read the Vedas, he happens to be everywhere. But his deepest wish was to observe Krishna's pastimes with the gopis. Because he understood that this is the highest and the deepest manifestation of spiritual love. Some people worship God for material benefits in this world. When we understand that life is so short and no matter what benefits, you have to suffer terribly in this world. Some people want to go to heavenly planets. When we understand that even Indra's in anxiety there from time to time, we want to go to the highest planets. When we understand Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, that they're all meditating because they want to get out of the material creation. So some people want liberation in the Brahmajyoti, no more suffering. But Narada Muni, he understands all these things. Beyond that is bhakti. Elevation into the loving service of the Lord in Vaikuntha. And beyond that is Goloka, the loving service of Sri Krishna in the mood of the Brijabasis. And beyond that, the highest manifestation within Vrindavan is the love between Krishna and the gopis. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikratir Ladini Shakti Rashman. The love of Radha and Krishna. Narada Muni is the greatest renunciate. There's no way to even tempt him with material sense gratification. Narada Muni Bhajayi Vinarati Kadamana Name. He's constantly chanting the names of Radha Raman, traveling all over the universe. And he prayed to Shiva, give me a mantra by which I could witness, I could have the vision to witness the love of Krishna and the gopis. So Shiva gave him a mantra, Mahadev, and told him to come to a place in Braj Bhumi called Naradavan, which is just where Kusum Sarovar is. And Narada Muni was performing his bhajan, chanting the names and meditating. And one day, Brinda Devi, who is the presiding empress of Vrindavan, on behalf of Sri Radha, Brinda Devi, who makes every possible arrangement in Braj Bhumi for the pleasure of Krishna and Sri Radha and all their devotees' loving pastimes. She approached Narada Muni, and he, after he developed the mature fruit of his chanting of the mantra that he was given, he expressed his desire to be able to actually experience through his vision the loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Now this is very interesting because it's something we could connect to. He was living there at Naradavan. which is just close to Radha Kund and Sham Kund. Krishna and Sri Radha are eternally performing their pastimes there. But Narada Muni understood, unless we are given the vision by the grace of the Lord's devotees, even he cannot see. So Brinda Devi told him that the pastimes of Krishna and gopis you can only enter with the body of a gopi. Being a male was a disqualification. She told him, chanting the mantra, meditating deeply with this prayer in your heart, go to the northwestern corner of Kusum Sarovar. And because this kund is filled with the Mahabhav of Sri Radha, your desire will be fulfilled. Narada Muni took his bath in Kusum Sarovar, the same place that we're bathing. By Prabhupada's grace. And when he came out of the water, he had the body of a gopi, Naradi Gopi. And Brinda Devi took him to Sri Sham Kund, Radha Kund, where he could actually perceive and experience Krishna's Madhurya Lila with his gopis. He could actually witness the love of Sri Radha for Sham Sundar. He could actually see that reciprocation of love. And Radha Gopinath, they told Narada Muni, now you have experienced it, now you write the Narada Bhakti Sutras and share this realization with the world. So Brinda Devi took him to the southeastern corner of Kusum Sarovar. And he went inside. He went in as a gopi, and he came out as the great sage Narada Muni. And at Narada Kund, that is where he is. He actually, in his spiritual form, never leaves there. If we continue a little more, we'll get to, is it Radha Banbihari? Yes, Mataji's little temple right on the banks of Kusum Sarovar. Pulinja Devi, would you like to stand up for a moment? She has been doing seva there on the banks of Kusum Sarovar for a beautiful Giriraj for many, many years. So please visit her temple and pray for all blessings to be upon her wonderful service. A little further, we'll just explain a few places. There is, if you go inside to the right from the parikrama path, beautiful shady trees. There is Shamvan or Sham Kutir. There's a footprint of Lord Krishna.